This meeting is being recorded.
So the first thing I would say is when you go to school, G, you want to take a practice test. Now that's, of course, go down to practice test and additional practice problems. And then under the folder practice GED exams, I have two types. The first one is with feedback. That means you could take the test, and then if whatever problems you get wrong, it then will explain how to do them. Similar to actual tests, it's just like the GED. You can use your calculator, you can, but you won't get feedback to any mistakes that you're making. Is almost to get you ready for the exam. So I would probably recommend doing the feedback problems first. And then when you think you're ready, you can take similar to actual tests, just to see what you are and see what you have to focus on. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. So any other, I have some in emails that people want me to go over, but anybody here that's here tonight, is there anything that you want to go over specifically, types of questions you want to go over specifically, or areas of concern that you want to work on? So again, you can find this on the Schoology site, the most missed questions. I would definitely look at this and know how to do every single one of these. Okay, because they're probably going to be almost guaranteed to be on the exam. But is there anything anybody wants to specifically work on before I go on the ones in my email and text messages? Okay. All right. So let me find this one here. Hold on. First of all. So this is on the GED, you're going to have to do two things with a function. That's either to tell if it's a valid function or not, or to evaluate it. But sometimes you got to understand what you need to do to understand that's a function. Okay, so if we look into this question here, it says the function CT is 60 plus 24T is used to find the total cost in dollars. So that means C stands for the total cost. The 60 plus 24T, they had to also identify what the variable stands for. So what they're telling you is of running an industrial cleaning unit for T hours. So the variable T stands for the amount of time that you're going to have this cleaning unit. So in this case, let me find my pencil. Your function is CT equal 60 plus 24T. What this is saying is that the cost function C needs the variable T in order to be evaluated. So in order to figure out the cost, it needs the number of hours that you're going to be using it. So, because they tell you right here. So C12, so remember the function is CT. So T means that your T is what? 12. So the time being used here will be 12 hours. So C in parentheses 12, which means the cost of renting the unit for 12 hours. And that's all that means. So all you would do is say C of 12, and all you're doing is substituting everywhere you see T, you're going to put a 12. That's 240 and 48. 240 and 48 is 288. So the cost to rent this for 12 hours would be, where did my pencil go that fast? So 12 would be 300, and then we got 48 left. Or 28 and 6 is 34. So the cost to rent this for 12 hours, this cleaning machine, will cost you $348. And being able to evaluate a function is a guaranteed problem on your exam. Being able to evaluate an expression is guaranteed on your exam. Now, with your calculator, this is a much easier problem. Okay, let me grab my calculator. Now, oops, that's the quadratic formula. Let me clear that out. So on the exam, they're using the variable t. If you look on your calculator, there's only certain variables you can use. X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, and the variable t. So what you could do here is just say 12 store t. Oops, I just went past t. And then plug that expression into your calculator. 60 plus 24t. Did we still get 348? It just took a lot less time using the calculator. So you have to practice when they give you something like that, what it actually means. So you have to practice enough so when you get this problem that you can pull out your calculator and finish it in 10 to 15 seconds. But if you don't know what that means, then it's going to take you a little bit longer, or if you're able to do it at all. So you want to make sure you understand that when we talk about a function, and let me move this out the way. When we talk about a function, for the GED, remember, all the variables can change. But what you're looking for, and what you can identify the function, if, for example, if it looks like that. So it could be f of x. It could be g of x. It could be h of x. It could be h of t. It doesn't matter. What it's saying is the function f depends on the variable x. The function g depends on the function or the variable x. Here, the function h depends on the variable t. So all you're doing is when you find out what t is, you just plug that in. So in this case, they gave it to you in one nomenclature, how to name it or how to show it, how to display it, f of minus 8. What this is really saying is x is equal to minus 8. And you're going to plug x is minus 8 into each value of x. Guaranteed problem. You're going to have to probably do that. I can almost guarantee you have to probably do that 2 or 3 times on your exam. Once for a function and probably once or twice for an algebraic expression. But if you learn how to store that variable into your calculator, this problem becomes fairly, hold on. Let me clear it. This problem becomes fairly easy. Now, if we're doing this by hand, again, if we're doing this by hand, what this is saying is x is equal to minus 8. So I have x squared minus 3x. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put a minus 8. So my question for you, are they the same thing? Are these two different options that I have on the screen, minus 8 squared minus 3 times minus 8, is that the same as minus 8 in parentheses squared minus 3 times minus 8? Are they the same thing? Are they the same thing?
And everybody?
Yeah, anybody can answer. Yes, anybody can answer.
No, you're not the same.
Okay, they're not the same. Anybody else? Do you think they're the same?
I don't think so.
They're not the same. So what they expect you to do or make the mistake when you have a negative number is to do the first one. Minus 8 squared minus 3 minus 8. The reason why is what it's saying is the number x, which is minus 8, needs to be squared, right? So let me show you on the calculator. Watch this. Minus 8 squared is equal to minus 64. Minus 8 in parentheses squared is a positive 64. So my suggestion to you is when you have a negative number, right? Whether you're using slope, whether you're evaluating the expression, whether you're evaluating the function, is to put the negative in parentheses on your calculator. Because then what happens is this now becomes easy. So it's two ways you can do it. You can say, okay, -8 squared minus, right, 3 times -8. You can put that in. You still get 88. You get 88. Or you could say -8 store x. Store that variable in your calculator and then type the expression the way you see it. X squared minus 3x. To me, you use the calculator and it's going to improve your accuracy because there's no mistakes that you can make. So you don't make that mistake thinking that first option, -8 squared, which comes out to -64 plus 24. Then you won't make that mistake. So being able to store that variable and then putting that expression into your calculator is probably at least 3 questions on your exam. I can almost guarantee. So that's one of the skills. If you look on my YouTube channel, evaluating the algebraic expressions and functions is probably 3 to 4 questions is very important. You cannot miss those problems that you have it. So so make sure you understand how to do that to evaluate a function. So for example, if you look at this second problem here, let me clear it. F of x, let me move this up a little bit and I'll move this over. So most people, when they do this problem, would say 3 times -3 squared plus 4. 3 times -3 squared plus 4. Again, my suggestion is to put that negative number in parentheses. Why? Because it do a separate. Understand the order of operations. So here in the second, it would say do exponents first. So 3 minus 9 plus 4. 3 minus 9 is -6 plus 4 gives you a -2. Okay. This top version, let me move that over so we can see the difference. And it's a big difference. And this is why what you'll see on the GED exam, what you will see is most of the time when they ask you to evaluate an expression, an algebraic expression, they have a negative number for you to use. Okay, so what you want to do here is, again, exponents first. So -3 times -3, everyone should know by now, 2 negatives when you multiply them become a positive. So this actually becomes 3 times 9 plus 4, or 27 plus 4, which gives you 31. This is the correct way. If you notice, there's opportunity for you to make a mistake. There's opportunity for you to make a mistake. Now, watch this.
I'll wait till I get to college for that.
So right now, all we got to do is understand is that they want to store x as -3. So everywhere you see x, they want to put a -3. That tells you right away you need to store that variable. So -3, store x, you press enter, and then you type this function exactly the way you see it. 3x squared plus 4, 31.
I'm gonna use the calculator now.
So you want to spend time in that ebook to make sure you understand how to do those types of problems. So that's why in the ebook I have so much practice so you can get used to it, step at the step at the step. So when you get to your test, this is a 15 to 20 second problem. Okay. All right. Now there was another one. Let's see. So let me move that out the way. I'm sorry, say it again.
Oh no, I said that would be a mess to do by hand on the test.
Well, they expect you to do it by hand, but they allow you to use your calculator. So if they're going to allow you to use your calculator, you want to use it as much as you can. And the only way you're going to do that is you're going to be used to it. So you got to practice. So when you're practicing Oh, this is another one I wanted to go over. For example, I think. Hold on, I got it on my phone. Let me go to my phone. Let me see if I have it here. I think I got it here. How's it not? There we go. Oh, there we go. Boom. And I want to see how many people would actually get this problem and how you would break it down and how you would solve it. Let's see. Hold on. I don't know why my computer's acting so slow here. There we go. All right. So let me see if I can find it. There we go, right there. Ooh, I don't want to actually show the answer though, do I? Hold on, let me hold on. Let me put this off the screen first and I'll type it in. I'll type the problem in. I'll type it in. So over the weekend, I saw several people, about 6 people that answered this question. About only half got this one right.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to write the 4 options. And what I do is I'm going to just give you a minute or 2 minutes and see who gets this problem. 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. B is 2 times 2x plus 3. And C is 4 times 2x plus 3. And D is 4x squared plus 9. So the length of one side of a square is represented by the expression 2x plus 3, which expression represents the area of the square. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give about 2 minutes to see what you would do to solve this problem. Because a lot of times what happens is when I'm going over the problems in these sessions on your one-on-one session, you understand, oh yeah, I got it. But would you have done that yourself? So I want to see what steps each of us take to get this answer. So the length of one side of a square is represented by the expression 2x plus 3, which expression represents the area of the square. And when you have an answer, just send it to me in the chat, A, B, C, or D. A, B, C, or D. The length of one side of a square is represented by the expression 2x plus 3, which expression represents the area of the square.
The area.
Okay, Layla, I received your answer. Destiny, I received your answer.
Oh,
Chris, now Chris, I received your answer, but everyone else did too. Make sure
yeah.
you send the answers to me.
I was go pick.
Okay, Brandy, I received your answer.
See, I got it wrong on the test. I just did this last night.
So I'm just waiting for Darlene. And that's it, I believe. Everybody else answered correct? Yep, I think so. All right, so we got about 40 seconds left. Darlene, I have your answer. So now that's everyone has answered. And the only person to get this one right was Darlene. Okay, so let's walk through the steps of how we can solve this problem. So first of all, let's identify what we know. Okay, I want you to get in the habit of identifying what you know. Okay, so what do we know so far?
I just went by the area.
But even before that, what do we know? Oops. What do we know from this? What do we know? What are they giving us already?
They
Length.
gave us just a square.
Okay, so first of all, they gave us the shape. Okay, that's very important because what is special about a square?
They all the same.
What's all the same?
The length, you know.
Right,
the
so
width.
all the sides are equal. All the sides are the same. So that's very important. Knowing that's a square is very important. What else do we know?
The 2x plus 3, they gave it to us.
Right, the length is 2x plus 3. That they gave it to us, right? And then the last thing we must know, how do you find the area of a square?
It's the number, whatever number they give you, you square it.
Okay, so whatever the number is, you square it. So now I saw somebody write this. That's the area of a square. But you also could remember, if you didn't know, the area of a rectangle is length times width. Just knowing that all the sides are equal, correct? Now, I need you to understand this though. A equal S squared is not the same as S times 2. Does everybody understand that? Multiplying something by 2 is not the same as squaring. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so it's not S times 2, it's S squared. So as Darlene said, is you have to multiply it by itself. So for example, if my side was 5, I would say A equal 5 squared, which is 5 times 5, which is equal to 25. Does everybody understand that?
Got you.
Okay, but our side is not 5. It is 2x plus 3. So area equal 2x plus 3 squared, which is equal to 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. Does everybody understand that step? Who does
Yes.
not understand that step there? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
Do you understand that step?
No, I kind of drifted off for a second.
Okay, do you understand why I did this example here, where I said A equal 5 squared, which is equal to 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Did you understand that step?
Yes, sir.
But my side is not 5. My side is 2x plus 3. So I have A equal 2x plus 3 squared. Do you understand where I got that from?
Okay.
Okay, now to anything squared is just multiplying it by itself. So 2x plus 3 squared is the same as 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. Do you understand that?
Got you.
Okay, good. So now I'm gonna erase this top section and I'm gonna move everything up because this is also an important aspect for the GED. You must know how to multiply binomials. You must. It's guaranteed on your exam. Oops, oops, ooh, I didn't mean to stretch it out. Oops, I meant to move it. Sorry about that. So I need somebody to remind me how we would multiply 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. Can somebody please help me? For some reason, I cannot remember how to multiply 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. What do I need to do?
Use FOIL method.
Say that again.
FOIL method, 2x times 2x.
Okay, so 2x times 2x. What is 2x times 2x?
4x
Where?
4x squared.
squared. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what you want to remember, let's make sure we understand. 2x times 2 is 4x, because 2 times 2 is 4, and then just bring the variable along with you because there's no other variable. 2x times 2x, you must know your exponent rules. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then x times x is x squared. Everybody understand that?
Cool.
Okay, so we got 2x times 2x. What do we do next?
2x times 3.
2x times 3. What is 2x times 3?
6x.
6x. What do we do next?
3 times 2x.
So understand what we did. I need everybody to understand what we did. We took 2x and we multiplied it by everything else in the other parentheses. If it was 3 things there, we would have multiplied it by the third thing, but it's only 2 things there. So we multiplied 2x by everything else in the other parentheses. And now we're going to do the same thing for our second term, which is plus 3. So now plus 3 times 2x is what? Also 6x, yes. Don't doubt itself. We know 3 times 2 is 6. Bring the variable along with us. And what's the last step?
3 times 3.
3 times 3. And what is 3 times 3?
9.
9. Do we have any like terms?
Yes.
What are they?
X, 6x.
6x and 6x. So what does 6x and 6x combine to?
12x.
12x. So now let's complete it. We're going to bring down our 4x squared. We're going to combine 6x and 6x, which is 12x. And then we're going to bring down our plus 9. So the key point is you have to identify what's given. So identify that you have a square. Identify that your length is 2x plus 3. Identify your formula that you need to use to plug in. And that's I want you to get in the habit of having that calculator, having that formula sheet. Because the formula sheet is just a roadmap to what you have to do. It's telling you in the question what things you need. Okay, that was one question several people had issues with. So make sure you go over that. Let me find the other one.
So that wasn't doable with the calculator? No, I had to
No.
sneak.
Why can't you use that with the calculator? Because it's an expression and we're not evaluating it.
Okay.
Okay, that's just knowing how to multiply binomials. So let me give you another example that people have problems with. I'm going to make this up, but first of all, x squared. Let's do minus 2x minus 35. So a. So this says let's factor it. X plus 7. X minus 5. B. X minus 7. X minus 5. C. X plus 35. X minus 1. D. X minus 7. X plus 5. So we have 4 options, and it says factor x squared minus 2x minus 35. And again, I want you to send me in the chat what answer A, B, C, or D. If we had to factor this quadratic equation, what answer would we get? A, B, C, or D? And I'm setting a timer for just 2 minutes. And send me your answer in the chat. If you notice, those were 2 different problems, but it's the same concept. So we still have to know how to multiply binomials, but it's 2 different concepts. One was area, one was factoring a quadratic equation. But you still have to understand the skill to multiply binomials? A, B, C, or D? Okay, Destiny, I received your answer. Layla, I received your answer. I'm gonna add another minute because I only received 2 responses. I'm gonna add 1 more minute. A, B, C, or D. Factor x squared minus 2x minus 35. Chris, you again sent the answer to everyone.
Oh, sorry.
You got to change it to mix. Okay, so that actually was 3 minutes. Okay, so again, while we're doing these practice problems, you want to take about, I would say, 2 to 3 minutes. So what we're going to do is, again, this multiplying binomial seems to be giving people some issues. So I think instead of just keep going over different problems, let's make sure we know how, as a group, how to do these problems. So no matter what type of problem we get, we have to multiply binomials, we'll be able to do. So somebody sent a message that said, I'm horrible at factoring quadratic equations. You're 100% right. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you. And this is what happens in real life. You get frustrated, and it's like, oh my goodness. And what your mind kind of, this is what I want you to do when you have those feelings. What do I know? First of all, factoring quadratic equations can be difficult, but an easier method, in this case, the factoring. So for example, let me show you how you would factor this mathematically. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do it first, how they expect you to do it. But then what I'm gonna then show you is how you can use the multiple choice in multiplying binomials to get your answer in way less time. So how they want you to do this mathematically is they want you to identify this as a quadratic equation. Okay, and A is 1. If you don't see a coefficient in front of the x squared variable, is 1. Your B, what's in front of the x, is -2. Your C is -35. So if you don't know anything, go home and say, okay, this is my quadratic equation. At least let me know how to identify A, B, and C, because that's very important. So now we identified A, B, and C. If A is 1, I want you to find the factor pairs of -35. Can somebody tell me the factor pairs of -35? So what 2 numbers can we multiply together to get -35?
+7 and -5.
Let's start with 1 first.
1 and
So
-5.
what happened? Right. So 1, So you want to start at 1 always. Okay, then you go up. If you know your multiplication tables, you know 2 doesn't go in 35, 3 doesn't, 4 doesn't, 5 can go in the 35. So 5 times what will give you negative 35?
7.
Negative 7, correct. Okay, so 5 times negative 7 will give you negative 35. We want to use, again, we want to change the signs on both sides. So instead of a positive 1, we're going to have a negative 1 and a positive 35. And then instead of a positive 5, we're going to have a negative 5 and a positive 7. If you notice, each of these pairs, when you multiply them, that's why it's very important for you to know your multiplication tables down. You have to understand what a factor is. Okay, it's very important. So now, we're now going to look for which pair, if I combine together, will give you negative 2. Which pair, once we combine those together, will give us negative 2.
Negative 7 and 5.
Negative 7 and 5. From that, this is how they want you to factor. From knowing 5 and 7, so x plus 5, x minus 7. So our answer here would be D. If you notice, I also reversed them. I didn't write the plus 5 first. But it doesn't matter. Remember, you can multiply in any order you want. 3 times 4 is 4 times 3. So that's how you that's how they want you to be able to do it mathematically.
So
Okay.
did you receive my answer?
Yes, yes. You're the only one that got it. You're the only
Okay.
one that got it. I'm sorry,
I
Layla
got
also
it
got
too.
it.
Yes.
Layla also got it, yes. Okay, so that's how you would do it mathematically. Now I want to show you how you can use another skill to be able to do this problem. So let's go back to the original. So one thing you have to realize is that if they give you multiple choice, right? One of those multiple choices is the answer. So if you don't know how to multiply binomials, you must make sure you know how to. You will at least have to do this skill 2 or 3 times. Now, again, we just did it. But that's when we're trying to find the area of a square. These concepts can be used in different areas. That's why you can't say, oh, I'm gonna remember everything. Understand the concept. We have the multiple choice. We know how to multiply binomials. So let's try it. First of all, this last term, let me change back to red, is minus 35. So what we're going to do is plus 7 times minus 5 is a negative 35. So it could be A. Minus 7 times a minus 5 is what? What is negative 7 times a minus 5?
35.
So it can't be B because we don't want a positive 35. We want a negative 35. And then 35 times minus 1 also gives you negative 35. And then minus 7 times plus 5 gives you negative 35. So just looking at the last 2 numbers and multiplying those 2, you can eliminate some of the answers. Usually on the GED, you can get rid of 2. Now, let's multiply. What is x times x?
X squared.
X squared. What is x times minus 5?
Minus 4x.
5x.
Negative 5x. What is 7 times x?
7x.
Plus 7x.
Plus 7x. And then what is 7 times minus 5?
Negative 35.
So right away, you know you have like terms. What is 7 minus 5?
Is 2x. Plus
2x.
2x.
So it is not A. Why? Because we're looking for a minus 2x. So we know it's not A. How do we know it's not B? Is because I want to show you something. I want to show you a nice little trick. Remember, we multiply 35 and minus 1. We know x times x is x squared. Right? We know x times minus 1 is a minus x. And 35 times x is a plus 35. But it's no way these 2 can combine to give you minus 2. Right? So we know it's not C. Our last answer, just by being able to multiply binomials, we get answer D.
Mr. Tinsley,
Yes.
does it mean because I did the installing of x and I got negative 35. But when I was working on the answers, I walked through, and that's why I choose C.
Right. So what happens? So let's complete that problem. Right? X squared. So 35x minus x is a positive 34x minus 35. We're looking for minus 2x. So one of the things you want to remember, if you understand factors, right? And you understand if you work with these enough, I'm gonna erase this and start over again. And I'm gonna show you a nice little trick. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. And this is when you have the same variable and you're multiplying, so you get x squared, right? Watch this. X squared with 7 minus 5. So look at this number here and combine them. What's 7 minus 5?
That
Positive 2. So we just add that x. Watch what I do. And then with 7 times minus 5. So we did 7 minus 5 is 2.
Negative 32.
And we
Negative
did
35.
7 times minus 5 is minus 35, right? So what you should notice is when you combine the terms, that'll give you your middle coefficient. And when you multiply the terms, you'll get your last constant. Watch this. So watch this. I'm going to do the second one. So I'm going to multiply all of them and watch how fast I do them. X times x is x squared. Minus 7 and minus 5 is minus 12. That's going to be my middle term. So minus 12x. And then minus 7 times minus 5 is positive 35. Hold on, Mr. Tinsey. You can't tell me it's that easy. Yes, it is. X times x, x squared. 35 minus 1 is 34 plus 34x. 35 times minus 1 minus 35. Look at that. X times x, x squared. Minus 7 plus 5 is minus 2. Minus 7 times 5 is negative 35. Remember, I told you math is about patterns. We'll always see it as you practice more and more. So let me explain something to you. If you're doing multiplying binomials, you can't do 1 problem, 2 problems, 3 problems and think you know it. You got to do 10, 15 problems until you know it. You can't look at it and say, yeah, I understand what Mr. Tinsey is doing. Oh, yeah. And then you get home and you try it by yourself and you go, what happened? No, that means you have to practice. So you should go home tonight and make sure you know how to multiply binomials. Because I've already told you that's going to be at least 2 problems on your exam. You have to make sure you go home and you know how to plug a number into your calculator and how to evaluate it by hand and using the calculator. Practice until you got that, then move on to the next thing. So I'm gonna put some examples on the board, on the screen, and let's see if we can get them. So and then again, I'm just gonna make these up. So I'm gonna do x minus 5, x plus 3, x minus 9, x minus 7, x minus 4, x plus 8. And then for a final difficult one, I'm gonna do a little bit harder. 2x minus 5 times x plus 3. So I give you 4 different problems. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do each problem. I want you to try the first one first. Then we're gonna go over it and we're gonna cycle through round robin until we finish all 4. Now I'm only going to give you 1 minute for each problem until we get to the last one. Then I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. So let's start off now. I'm not gonna give you multiple choice. You notice I don't have multiple choice. What I want you to be able to do is multiply binomials, and you need to know how to do it. So I gave you a shortcut how to do the first 3. The last one you can't use that shortcut for. You got to use, you got to multiply each term. So I'm gonna start with that first problem. I'm gonna give us a minute, and then I'm gonna ask each person what they what they got for an answer. Doesn't matter. You don't listen. There's no fear here. We all together. So if you get it wrong, don't worry about it. If you got it wrong, so what? Doesn't matter. I want you to get it wrong here, so you correct your mistake. So when you take your exam, you won't get it wrong. So I'm not trying to put anybody on a spot. I want you to think of this as a community, as a group. We're helping each other. Okay. So let me set the timer. I just closed my clock by accident. So I'm starting the timer now for the first one.
You?
And Brandy, make sure you have my cell number. So when you send me problems or questions, it's not going through Facebook. Because sometimes on Facebook, I might not get on there and I might not see it all day. So I'm gonna give you my cell number, and if any questions you have, you can just send it right to my phone. Okay? Is Brandy still on, or did she drop off? Because I saw she just sent me a message in Facebook.
He left, Mr. Tinsley. She's
Okay.
not here.
Okay. All right, so let's do number one. X minus 5 times x plus 3. Okay, she got booted trying to log back in. Okay. X minus 5 times x plus 3. Did I start the timer? Wow, that was a fast minute. Wow, that was a fast minute.
I did it, but I can't.
Yeah, it's hard to It's hard to write in the chat, so I don't want you to write in chat. Just tell me what you got, Darlene. What did you get?
I got x squared plus 2x negative.
Negative 15. Okay, minus 15. Destiny, what did you get? Destiny?
I struggle with those.
Okay. Layla, what did you get?
Okay, I got 6 x to the second power, or I should say x squared minus 2x minus 15.
Okay. Chris, what did you get?
X squared negative x negative 15.
Okay. And Mr. Crosby, what did you get?
X squared negative 2x negative 15.
Okay.
Yeah,
Negative 2.
wow.
Okay.
I did it wrong.
Okay.
I want
I'm
to
sorry.
change mine.
You want to change yours?
Yeah, instead of plus 2x, I want to put negative x.
Negative x. You said you want to change it from negative 2x to negative x?
So 2 squared negative 2x negative 15.
Okay. X squared minus 2x minus 15. Okay. And Mr. Crosby, what did you get?
It's wrong. I put two square plus
2 squared or x squared?
Yeah, I put 2 square.
Okay. Well, you know it's not 2 squared because there's no 2 in there, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's make sure we go over it. So first of all, this is how you should do it. First of all, I'm gonna multiply x times x. What is x times x?
X squared
X squared. And then we're gonna multiply x times 3. And what is x times 3?
plus 3x.
Plus 3x. So what did she get? Plus 3x. Then what are we doing next?
You multiplying
Negative 5 by x and 3.
Minus 5 times x. What's minus 5 times x?
Negative 5x.
Negative 5x. And then last but not least, what's our last step?
Negative 5 times positive 3, which will be negative 15.
Does everybody understand those steps of how I multiplied each term in the first parentheses? So the x times x confuse you. Okay, so let me make sure we understand that. So first we want to combine like terms. We get x squared, and then minus 5 plus 3 is a minus 2x. So Darlene, I'm glad you changed your answer, minus 15. So this first answer would be x squared minus 2x minus 15. The shortcut is this. This is what I want to show you. This is the shortcut. If these two are the same and has, coefficient is 1, so x, p, m, whatever, watch this. Minus 5 and plus 3. Minus 5 plus 3 is -2. Minus 5 times 3 is a -15. You should know, remember, math is about patterns. So what you should notice is this is going to be your middle coefficient, and this is going to be your last term. As long as these are the same, you combine the two numbers to get your middle term, you multiply the two numbers to get your last term. So here, if I look at -9, hold on. So everybody see that -2 and that -15. Now, Destiny, what I want to show to you is this. When you're multiplying exponents with the same base, and these are your one of your exponent rules. So x to the 3rd times x to the 5th. Remember, the exponents with the same base. So the base is x, the exponents are 3 and 5. When they're right next to each other or in parentheses, that means multiplication. So what you're going to do is you're going to add the exponents. So 3 plus 5 is 8. So x to the 3rd times x to the 5th is x to the 8th. You understand that?
Yes.
So this is where people have the issues. Watch this. X times x, which you don't see, is a 1 and a 1. So now x times x is really x to the 1st power times x to the 1st power, right? 1 plus 1 is 2. That's where the x squared comes from.
Mhm.
You good now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listen. Let me explain something to you. I don't care if you think everybody else in this group understand it. If you don't understand something, send me a message. Don't go by and say, oh, no, I'll wait. I think no, say I don't understand and I'll go through it. So here, this is what I want to, so what I'm saying is, thank you, Destiny. Because when I heard that, when I went over that last x to the 1st times x to the 1st, I heard 3 people go, oh. So that means some other people also needed you to ask that question. So they should be thanking you right now, because I will. Ask your questions. Whether text, email, if we in a session, send it to me in that chat. So x to the 1st times x to the 1st is x squared. I guarantee you will have to multiply binomials. Guarantee you. So now, let's look at this second one. Let me clear the screen. Oh, I'm sorry about the sound effects. I apologize. Let's look at this second one. So I'm hoping now this second one should take you a lot less time, because you realize to get that coefficient, you're combining the two terms, and then get the last term, you're going to multiply the two terms. When this is your coefficient of your variables are 1. Okay, so let's see if we can get that second one. So I'm gonna get the second one. I'm only gonna give a minute, and I'm gonna start now. X minus 9 times x minus 7. X minus 9 times x minus 7. X minus 9 times x minus 7. Whew. Man, it go fast, don't it? So this is part of the skill set. Now, you might think, oh my God, that's too fast, Ms. Tinsley. This is the type of skill set you must have. These type of problems you should be able to finish in less than a minute. If you can't, that means you need to practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also include, now this the worksheet that I'm going to send to you along with the video and the screenshots, you're going to also see a worksheet. And that worksheet is going to be part of quadratic equations. And you're going to have to multiply them out. Let's see what we get. So let's go through. I'm just going in order. Darlene, what did you get for the second one?
I got x squared,
X squared,
positive 16,
positive 16,
positive 63.
positive 63. Okay. Brandy, what did you get?
I got booted off and just got back on, so honestly, I'm
Okay.
behind.
Okay. Layla, what did you get? Layla, can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't know I'm still on mute. Sorry about that. So I
problem.
got x squared minus 16x plus 63.
Good. Okay. Chris, what did you get?
Oh,
X square negative 16x plus positive 63.
Oh, positive 63. Okay. And Mr. Crosby, what did you get?
I'm having trouble. I know where I'm having trouble at. I'm having trouble though.
Okay. Let's make sure we walk through it. And Destiny, what did you get?
I got 63. I had times the x minus 9 times the x minus 7, but I didn't do I just put 63.
Okay. So let's make sure we understand what we have to do. So first of all,
Because a negative and a negative makes a positive.
that's true, but we have to do each term. So what is x times x?
Mhm.
X squared.
X squared.
Got that part.
Okay. What is x times minus 7?
That's where
Negative 7x.
Negative 7x. So when you're multiplying a coefficient in a variable, you just connect the two together.
I just
So,
put it 7x.
5 times x is 5x.
So you said
Minus
negative.
7 times x is minus 7x. So all you do is put them together. When you're multiplying, just put them together. When you have a coefficient in a variable. Got me?
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Now I gotta multiply the minus 9. What is minus 9 times x?
What is that? Negative 9x?
Negative 9x. That easy. And what is minus 9 times minus 7?
Yeah, I got the 63. Where that
So
16 coming from?
what kind of 63?
Oh, positive.
Positive 63. So Destiny, do you understand where we got the x squared, the minus 7x, the minus 9x, and the positive 63?
Yeah.
So now, what the gentleman just said out loud, I don't know if anybody heard him. He said, well, where'd you get the minus 16 from? So I'm gonna show you now. So we have 4 terms here, but let me change my color. What you should notice is that both of these terms have x.
$1.
When they have the same variable, they are called like terms.
I don't have no money.
Yeah, that's why I was getting stuck at.
So we're gonna bring down our x squared. Now we're gonna look at the coefficients. So minus 7 minus 9 is what gives you the minus 16 plus, and we're gonna bring down the plus 63. So again, my shortcut is this. I see the x's, they're the same. So then I'm gonna look at the two numbers. So minus 9 minus 7, oops, I wrote minus 9 twice. Minus 9 minus 7 is negative 16. Minus 9 times negative 7 is a positive 63. Now we know bam and bam.
Wow.
Are you okay?
So that's a quick way to identify how to be able to multiply
First,
binomials,
what's going on?
especially when the coefficient of first of the variables is 1. It will not work when your coefficient is more than 1. So let me save it. Let me clear it. And I'm gonna do number 3, and then we're gonna do number 4 together. But let's watch this. So again, my shortcut says, okay, I'm looking at this. My x's are the same. They add the coefficient of 1. So I'm gonna combine my two numbers. So 8 minus 4 is what?
4.
4.
Positive 4, yeah.
Positive 4. And then minus 4 times 8 is what?
Negative 32.
Negative 32. So now I just do x squared plus, this is my first term on my coefficient, 4x, and then minus 32. I'm done.
Oh man.
But it takes practice. So you have to do at least 10 of these to make sure you commit it to memory. You can't just say,
Yes.
oh yeah, I understand it, and then go home and expect to do it. So you got to practice. So now let's do it now. The last one is a little bit more difficult. The last one, I can almost guarantee you're gonna have something similar to the last one. Almost guarantee. You have to know how to multiply binomials. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna erase everything else right now. And I'm gonna move this last one up to the top of the screen, and let's do it together.
Oh, Mr. Tesla, I got 2x squared plus x negative 15.
Oh, you already did it already. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can do it together. So if you sure you know how to do this, then you don't need to tell me. But if you're not sure, I want you to walk through with me together so we make sure we know how to do it. So what's the first two things I'm going to be multiplying? What's the first two things I'm going to be multiplying?
2x and the x.
Oops, let me change my color to another color. Let me go with blue. So 2x times x. So this is for if you had troubles with this. So Destiny, Mr. Crosby, Chris, I don't know, Chris got it, later got it, and Brandy, I think she came in late. Can anybody tell me what 2x times x is? What is 2x times x?
2x squared.
2x squared.
I could have swore I just said if you already know it, don't answer, but that's okay. Let me repeat. So if you already know it, I don't want you to answer. I want the people who were questioning whether they know how to do it, I want them to answer. So 2x times x.
Sorry.
So what you don't see is, let me explain to, oh, it's no problem. 2x times 1. If you don't see a coefficient, it's a 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. And then x times x is what? What is x times x?
Is it 1?
What's x
No.
times x?
X times x is
Okay. Yes.
What is x times x? We just did it. What's x times x?
Don't answer.
Isn't it?
Say it again.
Don't answer.
No, we're not allowed to. Darlene, we're not allowed to.
So x, so
2x
we're gonna need
2x
some help.
squared.
No, x, right. So 2x squared. So 2x times x is 2x squared. Okay, perfect. What's 2x times 3?
2x times 3. 6x.
6x. The next thing we're gonna multiply is minus 5 times x. What is minus 5 times x?
5x.
What kind of 5x?
Negative.
Negative 5x. And then what's minus 5 times plus 3?
Negative 15.
Negative 15. So now, what you should know is, now I wrote them vertically here. The reason why I wrote them vertically, so you can see each one is a step. So since we're multiplying binomials, well, bi means 2. So a binomial times a binomial, or 2 times 2, means you should have 4 terms. So we have 2x squared, 6x, minus 5x, and minus 15. So what you should now notice is that these are like terms. Why are they like terms? Can somebody tell me why I call them like terms? Why are they like terms? Because they share the x. So what is 6 minus 5?
1.
1. So 1x. So 6x minus 5x is 1x. So now I'm gonna bring down my 2x squared. I'm gonna bring down my 1x. minus 15. But Mr. Tinsley, I thought you said you don't see 1 in front of a variable. You're right. So even though it is 1x, we don't write 1x. You won't see 1x. You won't see negative 1x. You will not see a 1 as a coefficient to a variable ever. So even though 6 minus 5 is 1x, we remove the 1. Does everybody understand that?
Yep.
So the final answer for 2x minus 5 times x plus 3 is 2x squared plus x minus 15. Okay. So now again, I'm gonna go
These
ahead.
Polynomials, right?
And you have to practice. You're gonna have to practice. I'm gonna send a worksheet. I'm gonna send this worksheet here. Let me see if I have it open. I'm gonna send this worksheet here. Let me see if I have it open. Inferencing, no, not inferencing. That was for RLA. 3, 4, writing for RLA. There we go, right there. I think that's it right there. That's it right there. So if you notice, this topic says quadratic equations. Okay, I'm gonna send this to you. And what I want you to do is practice this first section.
Mhm.
It's 15 problems. Okay, now what you should be able to do when your coefficient is 1, it should be fairly easy. So x plus 4, x plus 2, you should know x squared, 4 plus 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8. Bam. Now, you're going to keep practicing these until you can do them that fast. Because that's 2 guaranteed questions on your exam. And then what we'll do next week is I'll show you the second part, factoring quadratic equations. So you'll be able to do both ways. But if you have the multiple choice, this is what they'll ask you. They will say to you, for example, they will say to you, factor this. And then they're going to give you multiple choice. So they'll give you x plus 6 times x plus 6. They'll give you x minus 6 times x minus 6. They'll give you x plus 36, x plus 1. 9 times 4 is 36. X plus 9 times x plus 4. What you should realize is if you know how to multiply binomials, what you should know and realize is that you need that middle term minus 12. Plus 6 gives you 12. It's not it. 36 plus 1 gives you 37. Not it. 9 plus 4 gives you 13. Not it. 15 seconds. So I'm gonna send this worksheet with you so you can practice. And what it would allow you to do is be able to factor quadratics when they give you that multiple choice quickly and easily.
Thank you. So when I do it, should I send you a picture of it to see if the answers is right?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Thank you.
So what she asked was, before next week, can I send you a picture of it to make sure I know how to do it, so I'll make sure I'm correct. Right. I don't want you to wait till all the way to next week to see if you're correct. So you can email it to me. You can send a picture of it. So what you might want to do is do 2 or 3 of them first. So what you might want to do is do the first 3 to make sure, because you don't want to do all 15 and then find out you were doing them all wrong. So do like 3 of them and then send me a text. Take a picture of it, email, say, are these correct? And then I'll say yay or nay. And then if I say yay, you continue on and see if you can get them all correct. Okay?
Got it.
Any questions, any other questions before we leave this evening?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
All right, so it's 7:50, well, 10 after 7. So I think tonight was fairly good. What I want you to do is make sure you practice. So when you get an email from me, you will have the video, you'll have the screenshots, but I'm also going to send you this worksheet. Okay? So you can practice. Also, what I'll do is I'll also send If you don't want to do it by paper, I'll also send you a link to do them in Khan Academy or CK12. So if you want to do them online that way, then you have another option instead of writing it in. I would probably prefer, if you don't know how to do it, do them by hand. Okay.
Okay.
So everybody have a good evening. Layla, I want you to stay on real quick before we don't log
Yes.
out yet.
Okay.
Everyone else have a good night.
All right, Mr. Tisley.
Good
All right.
night.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Mr. Tinsley, I need to discuss something with you, please.
Okay, no problem. So Layla,
Yes.
you reschedule for what day?
I'm gonna try to move it to the 20th.
The 20, what, 2 weeks
Yes.
from now? You can't fit another day in before that?
Let me see, because it's really hard. I'm gonna try to do maybe the 14th or the 16th, actually.
Okay, so because I think you're ready, what I want you to do is, as we discussed before, go into that practice until you know how to do those problems quickly. So time yourself. So even though on a practice test it's time for 2 hours, you probably want to finish in about 40 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you want to take another GED ready practice test, you can. But again, I would probably say while it's fresh and you're doing them back and forth and you knocking them out quickly, I would say go right in with your
Okay.
confidence high and take it.
And okay, and can I ask you, Mr. Tinsley, a favor?
Mhm.
After you stop recording, I have a question from you.
I'm sorry. I thought I stopped recording.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry.